Beyblade, the anime where souls are getting snatched. People turn into Super Saiyans, and dudes launch their Beyblades 20 feet in the air, and somehow their legs are not broken. Now, as you can see in the title of this video, this is part 4 of me covering over the menaces of Beyblade. So far I've covered over the menaces of each generation. And no, I'm not covering the menaces of Beyblade X, cause I don't know if they have any, and I honestly don't feel like watching it. Anyways, after reviewing each series, I've realized that I've missed some menaces, so in this video, I will be going over the menaces that I haven't covered. So enough talking, let's start the video. So the people who watch this channel know how much I love to shit on Aurther, but after reviewing his accomplishments, I've unfortunately come to the conclusion that he is a menace. So, in the middle of Delta and Aiger's match, Bro copies Aiger's past launch and takes out both Aiger and Aurther. Okay, seriously, how are these dudes jumping like 20 feet in the air? Man, they do not skip leg day. Anyways, he knocks Aiger's bay into the champion belt and cracks it. Which, how much pounds of force do you need to be able to break gold? I'm surprised Healios didn't break. Then Delta tries to use hyperflux to take out Aurther, but Aurther just one-shots him and destroys the stadium. Wow, made quick work of the world champion Delta, who has been Aurther farming this whole series. Anyways, he challenges Aiger to a battle. So as the battle goes on, Aiger is just using one move after the other, and Aurther just tanks all that shit. So Aiger's wondering how the hell he hasn't burst yet, and Aurther proceeds to demonstrate one of the most broken Beyblade burst gimmicks, 360 rotation. The second Aurther revealed this broken gimmick, Aiger's fate was sealed. So Aiger goes all out, activating hyperflux. But this doesn't phase Aurther in the slightest, and he uses a never before seen ability, Dark Flux, and straight up engulfs all of Aiger's light and packs him up. So in about 2 minutes he's taken out the world champion. Wow. Right after Aurther's battle with Aiger, Drum challenges him. However, Aurther uses observation haki to sense Delta's aura, and now it turns into a 2v1. So once the battle has started, Aurther once again just tanks all of their hits like it's nothing. Realizing this, Delta tries to use a special move, and once again, Aurther brushes it off like it's nothing, calling that shit weak, staining Delta's aura. So both Drum and Delta go all out, using hyperflux, and screaming like Dragon Ball Z characters. Aurther proceeds to use his OP Dark Flux, and not only packs up Delta, but destroys Drum's bay. That's 3 strong blade as he's bodied by lunchtime. Oh, and it doesn't end there. The next day he launches a Hell Tower, and steals all of Fumiya's club members. Dang, I kinda feel bad for Fumiya. He was already having a rough time getting packed up by Drum and Lodin. But now Aurther stole all of his members. So he took out the world champion in 2 minutes. Took on Delta and Drum in a 2v1. Broke Drum's bay, launched a company, and stole all of Fumiya's members. So now he has aura, clout, money, and hoes. Damn. Then Delta proceeds to run it back with Aurther. So Delta has figured out Aurther's weakness. So you think that Delta's about to get his get back? Unfortunately. Yeah, he straight up gave Delta depression. I mean, look at him. This is the worst someone has been affected by their bay breaking. Could you blame him? Imagine you're on a winning streak, or farming the whole show. Then some random dude comes along, packs you up in a 2v1, breaks your tip, and breaks your bay. I would be pretty depressed too. Anyways, that's all I got for Aurther. I'm not even gonna dive into how bad he fell off, cause then all his past accomplishments would be undermined. Let's move on to the next person. Now the factor that separates Aiger from the rest of the menaces, and what probably makes him an even bigger menace, is that he is the MC of the show. Now, what makes Aiger a menace? Well, there's one moment alone that makes him such a menace. But we are gonna have to go back in time, to where the menace journey started. So after getting annihilated by Free earlier in the episode, Aiger decides to run it back later. However, this time he's obtained Dark Resonance Aura. Once the battle starts, Aiger launches so hard that he destroys his launcher, which is a feat only Xander has demonstrated. So once the battle starts, Free uses his special move, Jest Spin, and Aiger takes that shit out like it's nothing. And he low-key had Free shook, and while he still took an L, this battle paved the way for what's yet to come. So fast forward to the battleship cruise. It's Aiger vs Fubuki. So after Fubuki takes the first round, Aiger activates his hidden ability, Absolute Get Back. So how this ability works is that after Aiger loses the first round of a battle, he gets a power boost. So once the second battle starts, Aiger makes quick work out of Fubuki and gives him this death look. So once that battle's finished, we move on to the battle you've all been waiting for, Aiger vs Volt. So Aiger has been waiting since day one to get his get back, and the day has finally come. Only this time, he's a menace. So the first round is just a recreation of their first battle. However, this time Aiger wins, showing his growth. However, Volt ain't no bitch and burst Aiger in the second round. So this is where Aiger starts to go insane, looking like Lane right now. Maybe this is where Lane got his tweaking out from. So the battle starts, and thanks to Aiger's ability, absolute get back, he's evenly matched with Volt. And as the battle goes on, Aiger starts to tweak more and more, and slowly but surely, Volt realizes Aiger's become a menace. So they both go all out, clashing head on with each other. Aiger starts to develop that Fi mentality, subtly foreshadowing what's about to happen. Even Fi recognizes this. He must be so proud. And now Aiger's even more hungry to beat Volt. So Volt uses one last move, Wonder Wing launch, and Aiger uses no special move. That right there clearly demonstrates the power difference, and how Volt is screwed. Cause ain't no way Volt had to use a special move to match Aiger's power, while Aiger is just there chilling. So after Aiger yells out his last Dragon Ball Z scream, he breaks Volt's bay in half. Let me repeat that. Aiger just broke Volt's bay in half. That's worse than how Shu broke Volt's egg. In fact, this might be the most disrespectful way a bay has gotten destroyed in Beyblade Burst. There was no struggle, no clash, just straight through. And not even a day later, the dude beats Fi. Yup, literally the same day this dude beats Fi, who is the series' current menace. So before the battle begins, Fi talks about how Aiger will never be as good of a protagonist as Volt, even if Aiger broke his bay, so that pisses Aiger off. So once the battle begins, Aiger is just pummeling Fi, and in typical Fi fashion, he starts to get turned on by seeing Aiger so mad. You know, I'm starting to think that Fi, Hyde, and Hisoka are related somehow. Anyways, he used Revive Crush, and you'd think Aiger would be screwed right. But Aiger has an anime flashback. He thinks about how the fandom constantly says Volt is a better main character, which causes him to turn into a Super Saiyan 2, and brushes that shit off. Which is the one and only time one of Fi's crush moves has been brushed off. So in a final clash, Aiger wins. Wow. Packed up the previous MC, and another menace in one day. Now fast forward into the Dead Tower. Kyle wants to run it again with Aiger. However, what Kyle doesn't know is that Aiger has been on demon time this past few episodes. So before the battle even starts, Aiger starts to get pissed, cause he has to deal with this fodder again. So as the battle starts, Kyle does the usual, use chain protection, and stay in the middle. However, when Aiger knocks him into the wall, he uses chain counter, which sends Aiger into the air, and in this moment, is where Aiger turns into a Super Saiyan, and uses Z-Dive. And while he's using Z-Dive, the dude is literally crashing out, bursting Kyle and breaking his nut, giving him the old red eye treatment. Anyways, that's enough of the menace Aiger. On to our next menace. So I just got done watching the Metal Masters movie, and my god, I did not think Healios was gonna be this big of menace. He is literally season 1 Ryuga. Anyways, his first appearance is at the mini tournament they had, after Jinka just got done beating Tsubasa. The stadiums combine, and Jinka expects it to be maybe Masamune, Yu, or one of these irrelevant guys. But instead he sees the stadium in ashes, and bodies on the floor. Man, how many times is Yu gonna be in this position? Man, that's like 3 times he's in this position. Anyways, everyone's wondering what the hell happened. Then as the smoke clears, we get introduced to the menace of the movie, Healios, who's just there aura farming. So you know how Jinka is. He's tired of seeing you getting packed up like this. So he challenges Healios to a battle, and Healios does not take the battle seriously at all. The entire time he's just smirking, reminiscing about how he's gonna turn Jinka into his bitch. So when Jinka goes in for a strong attack, Healios straight up just teleports. So dude has fire powers and teleportation. So after Jinka keeps getting his ass kicked, he gets called weak by Healios. And in a last attempt, Jinka uses his special move, Stargazer, and bro just summons the flames of hell and stops Jinka's special move. Realizing this is the extent of Jinka's power, Healios uses his third ability, the Sharingan, and is such a menace that he has his own type of special move and launches Jinka's bay with 500 pounds of force at the wall, doing serious damage to Pegasus. But even after packing up one of the strongest bladers ever, he still wants more. He still needs to rack up his aura points. So he asked Jinka to run it back, but I think he forgot how bad he just packed him up. Masamune doesn't forget though and asks Healios to run it, but he knows Masamune is fodder, so he wants everyone to battle him at once. So he once stops everyone. Then Tsubasa has to step in, but he can't do shit and is getting bumbled. So once Jinka realizes his friend's errant shit, he steps in and stops Tsubasa from getting packed up. But due to his last battle, Pegasus can't do shit either. So once he realizes that nobody can do shit, Healios dips. Fast forward to when Masamune and the rest of these nobards look for Healios. Why is Masamune looking for Healios when he got one-shotted by him earlier? There's a difference between being an idiot and being determined. So Healios pulls up and goes against Masamune, and surprisingly he doesn't get one-shotted. But his bait does get sent flying. So this guy decides to run it, and to be honest I forgot his name. Anyways, he uses his special move, and this dude is not phased at all by it, and calls it fake. So while this guy whose name I can't remember has Healios in his domain expansion, Tetsuya comes up with a plan. And what I find funny about his plan is that he knows for certain that Healios is gonna break out of it. However, while these guys are battling, Tobio is waiting to snipe Healios like it's Call of Duty. So Healios gets tired of being in this lame ass special move and breaks out, saying the only god this dude should be worshipping is Soul Blaze. Straight, Aurther. So after this dude gets sent flying 20 feet in the air, Masamune tries to take Soul Blaze out, but of course that doesn't work. And not only does he stop Masamune, but he sends his bay directly at Tobio thanks to his Sharingan. So Tobio just got knocked down to the ground, and both Masamune and Tobio's base have been taken out, and Healios basically calls all of them bitches. But the craziest part is that, even though 3 of these guys have been packed up, he still decides to attack them, leaving Masamune in this state. So fast forward to the final part of the movie, Masamune decides to run it again with Healios. You know, I'm starting to think Masamune has some type of kink for getting beaten. Cause Healios has beaten him 2 times already, and he still wants more. Nonetheless, Healios one-shots him, and still decides to attack Striker even when it's not spinning. Cause Healios couldn't give less of a shit about Masamune. So the rest of these idiots try to stop him, but they also get one-shotted. You know, why is it every time I do a menace video you is getting packed up by someone? Out of the 3 menace videos I've done, you is getting packed up in 2 of them, and this is about to be the 4th. Anyways, Pegasus has to save them, and I assume you know how the rest of the movie plays out. Jinka wins due to plot armor, the world is saved, yada yada. But that's all I've got for Healios. Overall he's at the top of the food chain for menaces. Actually, I should make a tier list ranking all the menaces. But, if I've missed anyone, or you'd like to give your opinion about the menaces, let me know in the comments. But that is all I have for today. See you in the next video, you know life.